Hey everyone, and welcome to this new video where I will be talking about a technique to learn mobile app design fast. This is a widely used technique between designers, and it basically considers asking yourself, what are other people doing? Yes, it's that simple. And we're going to be answering this question by replicating other apps. And I will be showing you two techniques that will help you extract the most out of the apps that you're replicating, and also I will highlight which technique is my favorite and why. And no, don't worry, I'm not saying that you should copy an app, put it in the market, and start getting profit from it, but to get inspired by other apps, especially the apps you like. But before delving into the techniques, let's talk about why I recommend you to do this regularly, especially if you really want to get into app design. First, because while you're replicating other apps, it helps you learn design patterns very quickly. While studying other apps, you can quickly grasp patterns like, for example, what is the font size they are using, what space between text they have, what the margin they use, and things like that. It's really helpful for you, especially if you're seeing apps that you use regularly. Second, it helps you make a quick comparison between theory and practice. You can start seeing how design professionals sometimes bend the rules and get amazing results, because sometimes when we learn design principles from books and manuals, we tend to think that these rules are fixed, we cannot change them. But when you see how professionals behave in the practice, you can notice that these rules are actually not that fixed and there's more room for freedom. And third is just more fun. It's just more fun to learn design like that, especially if you start with apps that you like and use every day, which I strongly recommend. And finally, if you do this regularly, you will have a very cool portfolio, a project to show in your portfolio. If you have five or four apps that you replicate, you'll have something very interesting to talk about in your interviews, because everyone who knows about design will understand all the things that you have learned by replicating all of these apps. Okay, enough intro. I'll show you the techniques you can use to take the most out of this practice. First one is tracing, and as the name implies, when using this technique, to just take a screenshot of the app from your phone, put it in Figma or any other design tool you use, reduce the opacity, and start drawing on top of the app. This method is very simple, and the main benefit of this technique is that it's very quick and it helps you to quickly clarify specific doubts that you have when you're facing a design problem in your daily job. And also the main con of this technique is that it's very simple, it's very quick. It doesn't sometimes it can become very mechanical and we stop thinking on the on what we are designing. And in my experience, at least, when I don't think that much and when it's very simple, I tend to forget the things I learn. So in the long term, this technique cannot is not the best in my opinion. And that's where the second technique comes. And it is guide. This is my favorite technique. And as you can see, this method consists of doing a screenshot in your phone, put it in Figma again, or any other design tool you use. And the main difference is that you just put it on the side and you start designing in from a blank screen. And the main star of this technique are the guiding lines that you trace using the ruler feature of Figma, and I'm pretty sure Adobe XD also has the same or a similar feature. So the main difference is that you start from a blank frame, which made this technique a little more challenging. But as I mentioned in the previous with the previous technique, this one is more challenging. That means this will help you keep the learning longer. and apply these learnings to your future projects. And the cons, of course, is that it is more time consuming compared to the tracing method. Don't worry if you have doubts about these techniques that I explained. I will be doing an example using the guiding technique, replicating one of my favorite apps, that is the Airbnb app. Of course, I will not be replicating all the app, but part of it. But I think it will be really helpful for you to fix how the guiding technique works. Let's get into it. Okay, to make this video a little shorter, I already made a screenshot of my phone of the Airbnb homepage and I pasted on Figma. This is the screenshot. I resized this to iPhone 11 frame and I created an iPhone 11 frame here where I will be working. I already extract the icons that I will be using, and this is very simple. It doesn't need to be the exact same icon, but I use the plugin called Iconify. It looks like this, and here you search the icon you're looking for. And I use a Chrome extension called what font to analyze what font is using and Airbnb is using, and they're using a font called Circular. Then that font is not free, but I found another font that is very similar that is called DM Sans, and I will be using that, and it's totally free with Google Fonts. So to start with, you can press Shift R and you have the rules on top in the left corner, and you can start dragging your rule in over your screenshot. And I will be replicating the search bar. And also, you may notice that I am working inside a frame, and that may be kind of weird, but you can see that's the way, if that's the only way that the rule can go through your screenshot and over the frame that we're gonna be working. If you put both those two under a frame, but you can see here how the rule goes over both of them. That's exactly what we are looking. So you need to be working on in a frame. Okay, so I will start dragging the lines. I will start with the words I have inside the search bar. And now you can make this an auto layout. Every time you're gonna be creating a component, it's always better to make it an auto layout. And let's try now to adjust the spacing. Okay, we have the title of the searcher. Now we can delete these lines, and now let's try to replicate the options or filter icon. And there you go. We have the filter icon, and now we can create the search icon. And now I have everything I need, and I just need to group this. I can make the rule disappear for a little bit, and then I can group this. Now I can call this group as left. I can group these two here. There you go. Also, something useful here is we can measure the margins. Here we can see the difference, and they seem to be using a margin of 24. So we can create that margin real quick here. Oh, I already have it. So yeah, that will be useful for us to adjust the width of our component. what happened here? Let's put in a space between. And now, there you go. That's what I was looking for. I want this space between allows you to make the space between these components variable, just depending on the width of your component. So now that's the right width. Then we need to add some spacing. And let's change the color of this stroke. Apparently the same as this one. Will be easier, but a little thinner. There you go. And now we can fill this with white. No, it will not be visible, but I think it's a good thing to do. The spacing of this side seems to be higher. To finish this, we can add the shadows. And there's no way to copy the shadow, but to make it just by eyes. And there you go. And that's how you use the guiding technique to replicate a component. And I hope this was useful and see you in my next video. Bye bye.